Hey everybody, it's Steve with Sky194 and appreciate you taking the time to visit and check out my video. And we're doing a quick little video here. We're at Barcelona in the 2018 Porsche GT3R and my new livery with the Manti Racing. I'm doing a Thunder Snapper. Asked for a setup for the car for Barcelona. So I was going through the setup, and I just figured, I know he's doing it for a campaign, so I just figured, well, I'll test it in a race kind of scenario. So I know he's doing an endurance, but I did the setup with a full fuel load and this fuel load both, so it works either way. Here we go with the start. Just gonna show a few laps. I'm not gonna show the whole thing. I really wanted to see how it would do with some of the other cars down the straightaway. Especially since the Aston's right there, the V12 Aston. There's the AI and the aggression's at 100, so they're maxed out. Oh, he got the inside on me, so I just let him have it. Started the race with 65 liters. I mean, it's just a short little race, so it's, way more. But I mean, I actually tested the car with 120, full tank. So either way. Very raceable. You can pretty much go where you wanted to go. I went around the outside, so I figured I'd be out braking them. So I just went around the outside. Got one of them. Got behind the other factory Porsche. I was really trying to see what it would do, and it pulls right up. I mean, you can draft it. Not even a problem at all. It's got really good straightaway speed compared to the other cars, so no issues there. Felt really good. Again, I went more towards trying to make sure the car was balanced the best I could since he was doing an endurance race. So again, I wanted to run it with a couple different fuel loads. I mean, I don't know how long that is, but I mean, again, I just wanted to, where I ran it with 65 liters, started out with 80 something, and even did a full tank where I did some laps with that. It still feels really balanced. So, I mean, either way. But you catch up a lot on the brakes there. Car's really good on the brakes, and I didn't even turn down the brake bias, which you can, but I didn't turn it down. I actually was off a little bit on my tire pressures, so probably because I was doing it with a heavy fuel load, and I didn't take as much this time, so I needed to go up a couple tenths, so probably I was off a little bit. This is where it was really interesting because got in behind the Aston, and I'm thinking, well, he's gonna walk away from me, but I was able to draft right there and actually pull up on him, and I mean, you can see the speed, and just outbrake him into turn one. So I was really happy with that, because that's probably one of the fastest cars on the straightaway. So definitely don't have too much wing in it. He's still back there. You can see him right there. So he's still there. other than that, I mean, he's still pulling a gap, catching up to the Lamborghini. Let's see, we'll skip ahead. I'm going to see where I was. Yeah, here we go. Show this and start bump drafting with Campbell here. As I was pushing him. Like we were tied together. Backed off right there at the end. But this is going for the lead. But, you know, I just caught up to him and was just pushing him. So, obviously, I had, you know, a little bit more straightaway speed than the other Porsches. So they must even have more wing than I do. Yeah, maybe we ran a little wide there, but that's okay. So, I also noticed that, you know, it was going a little slower, so then my tires started dropping even more since they were off anyway. So then, you know, that's the bad thing. You know, you set your tire pressures to a certain pace, and then you don't hit that pace, whether it's, you know, for whatever reason, damage or traffic or whatever. Well, then obviously the tire pressures are going to start dropping. So, I mean, that's what really, you know, kind of messes you up. So, and then the car starts not having as much grip, and so I knew I was just wanting to kind of compare it to that car, you know, another Porsche. But basically, you know, see how I was braking, you know, and again, I was braking a little bit better in certain places, a little bit faster down the straightaway. So obviously they must be running a little bit more wing in the car, I guess. Or he's just not getting the drive through here. I'm getting, I think, a better drive through this little chicane here. He pulls a little gap, but I close up a lot on him right through here. So, I mean, I make up a lot of distance. And then by then, I already got momentum. And, you know, let's see my fast is at 145.6. And see, I can pull right up next to him and outbrake him. So again, go into the last lap for the finish. Which, like I said, I mean, I passed him and held the pass. I was like, it's a couple laps. You see, I ran a 145.60, 145.66, and that was with no drafting. So again, you know, I think the car is good. I mean, it's very balanced very well. Beautiful car. Just absolutely gorgeous car. All right, really happy with that. So let's go over. Look inside his car. So let's go ahead and go over the setup. And of course, I'll show you the timetables. You can see right there. Look at that. That's over half a second. That's from the drafting. That's when I did the fast lap. But, I mean, if I would have put that together with his in that third sector, I would have been a 45.0. Yeah, pretty much a 45.0 something. Which, of course, that's with the draft. I mean, he pulled me. I mean, I gained like 5 miles an hour behind that Aston Martin. So, I mean, again, it's like, you know, free horsepower. So, but still, I was still running right there, you know, mid to higher 45s and stuff like that, low 46s. So, again, you know, like I said, just trying to see what the pace is. Let's see, we got 24.3 left front, 25 left rear, 26.1 right front, 26.3 right rear. The toe's negative 0.1 with the camber at negative 3.8 on the left front, negative 3.6 on the right front, and the caster at 9.5. The toe on the rear is a positive 0.05 with the camber at negative 3.3 on the left rear and negative 3.1 on the right rear. I had these maxed out, but it actually picked up a little bit by taking some of the negative camber out. It actually picked up a little bit, so that was good. And you get a little bit more feel on the car. Electronics are 3 and 4. Because you go in, it wants to lock up that one tire. I think it's the right front a little bit here and there. So again, I think going into that couple of the different turns, it wants to lock up I think it's the right front. So again, I just run a little bit more ABS, but you can try 3 if you'd like to. Fuel, of course, like I said, now it's also with the number 2 brake pad also. So again, I started with 65 liters, but I ran this again with full tanks. And it was fine. Again, I did the number 2 brake pads because he said it was an endurance race. I don't know what that is. If that means it's only an hour, if it's an hour, you can go back to ones. But still, I still had twos, or if it's 2 or 3 hours, and yeah, you're probably safer with the number twos. So again, wear was about normal. Little bit more wear on the front, but that's the 2018 Porsche. That's the one thing that's a lot different than the newer one, is you get more wear on the front than the rear. So again, you don't mind, later on, as soon as the car starts losing some fuel, to throw more brake bias into it to try to get the rears to wear a little faster. So, and also to pace it and then try not to burn the fronts off. So again, you want to, if you can back it off a little bit or take it a little bit easier into the corners, go ahead and do that just to save the front tires. But the anti-roll bars 3, brake bias is 50, but you can go down to 49, no problem. Steering's 12. Springs on the front are 116,000 with a bump stop rate of 700 and a bump stop range of 0. And on the rear, the springs are 154,000 with a bump stop rate of 900 and a bump stop range of 10. Any roll bar is 5, and the preload on the diff is 120. So again, that's all all tried a lot of different setups, different springs, different bump stop rates, different ranges. It kisses a few places in turn 1. It kisses, and I thought there was another place it kisses, but that's why I have the bump stops ranges pretty tight, so it doesn't hit too hard, because it's only going to come up as the fuel burns off. The car is going to come up, so you're probably going to have a little bit more clearance as the fuel comes off. So again, I'm trying to keep it as efficient as I can without upsetting the car. Shocks, we got 5523 on the front and 1023 on the rear. Again, all dialed in with Motec. Aero got 62 on the front, 80 in the rear with a 12 wing and a 4 and a 3 in the brake ducts. And the front aero variation is a negative 4.9. So again, of course, the rear is going to stay the same. The front's going to go up like 3 or 4. So I mean, it's going to go up a pretty good amount. So it's definitely going to be like 66, 68. I mean, it's going to be way up there when the fuel burns off, especially if you're starting off with full tanks. So that's, again, definitely have to probably use some of the brake bias to help rotate the car. Again, save the fronts as much as you can. And of course, tire pressures, you probably need to keep them, somewhere in the mid 27s. Maybe try that, or maybe if depending on if the pace slows down how much, you might have to run up near 28. So when you slows down, it'll be down in the mid 27s, because you don't want to get down to 27 or 26s. So again, something you might want to consider or try out depending upon, I'm not sure what the race is. So again, I hope this works for everybody. But again, I think it's a good setup, good balance. Again, if you're doing rain, I would leave the rear alone, lift up the front by 2 or 3 clicks, and probably add a couple clicks of wing, and then just let it go from there. And the brake ducts and all that, just adjust those accordingly with the tires, because a lot of times in the rain you don't need as much brake ducts. So I probably click down 1 in the rain unless it's really warm. But that's probably all I would do for that, because everything else is pretty good. You could take a couple clicks out of the negative camber all the way around. That's pretty much a given on any. If you know it's going to be rainy, I would just take a couple clicks out of every corner. And of course, just like your TC, I would adjust this accordingly. TC and your ECU. Of course, the brake pads, with the number 2s, you can still take some rain, so that's still okay. And like I said, everything else, you're pretty soft on the soft side of the spring, so you should be fine. Even in the rain, it should be pretty decent. And other than that, everything looks pretty good. Like I said, I think it's a pretty solid setup. And of course, I'll leave a link to this setup in the description. And again, anybody hasn't seen the other my other video that I have coming out, I'm not sure which one will come out first, but depends upon YouTube. But again, Happy New Year to everybody, and I appreciate your support through the last year, through 2022, and I sure hope you come and visit often in 2023, and I hope it's a great year for everyone, and I hope you come back and visit again really soon. Y'all take care. See ya.